Okay, everybody, this is the combined senior, and senior Walk Trot English Pleasure. So there are 5 of you in here. So in terms of the gaits, we're kind of looking for a ground covering, length of stride, a nice rounded top line, a nose kind of slightly in front of the vertical if possible. Some nice balance in its movement. So in a horse that kind of looks like it could be headed toward a jump. So as we look at the first entry here, this is a very consistent horse, good upward transition, some decent length of stride for not being very tall, actually. Really nice, holds its head consistently, correctly. Another nice transition. A good 4-beated walk, 2-beated trot, all of the kind of things that make you judgeable. So okay, and horse gives to the bridle a bit there, doesn't fight the back. So that is entry 1. Let's see here. This horse is a nice hunt trot, good length of stride, a little floatier in its movement than the last horse, so maybe a little more desirable in the trot on this one. Maybe a little less consistent in the top line than the last one, however, but minorly. Slightly behind the vertical. And if we really want to show some brokenness, you want that nose out just a smidge more. Horse is very consistent. Has a nice hunter trot.
Stop.
Okay, maybe a little more kind of hesitation in the back, perhaps we could say. On that. That was a very nice entry. Next one. So this horse doesn't have the length of stride. Maybe it's suited a little more to the Western events. It is kind of getting there as it trots around. It's lengthening out a bit. Very consistent though in its head and neck carriage. And very steady. So when I'm looking at the length of stride, I'm kind of looking at would the hoof print, from the front foot be covered with the hoof print from the back foot? And you can see then when you think about it that way, that it is, not quite there. Not to say that this horse doesn't have a lot of good things, because it does. It's so consistent, very steady, especially in its top line. So that's very desirable. Just I wish it had a little longer stride. Sometimes, conformation does impact that. And if it's long backed, that can be a little bit harder to achieve, depending on some other factors. Sometimes if you post higher, that will help that. The horse kind of feels your rhythm. So I think about that maybe. All right, good entry. All right. So this horse I would probably kind of put as a pair with the last horse in terms of the style of going. Also very consistent in the top line, a nice headset, carries its head really pretty. Just doesn't get underneath itself as much as, say, the second horse in the class did. Another good downward transition. Okay, and horse back's really nice. Looks like mostly off the legs, so that's great. Okay. This horse has a lot of eye appeal. It is very broke in its top line, it appears. Again, could it be, as it goes around the corner there, it's maybe a little bit highlighted, but I'd like to see it a little more nosed out. And that's just a matter of, brokenness, really. Not to say that the horse isn't very broke, just it's a higher degree of difficulty a little bit when it goes around with its nose out, just a smidge. So either at the vertical or slightly in front of it. But really pretty mover, I would say, just not as, doesn't have the length of stride that the horse that's going to be first in this class had. But it's very, very pretty. But when you think about a hunter, which one is going to navigate, head toward a jump and navigate